I couldn't sleep after that shit. Like, it was just like 6 figures ain't enough. 6 figures. So I just was like, I have to express this to the world. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Hello, coworkers.
What up, y'all?
What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the We Outside Afterwork podcast. I am Dana.
Oh, I can introduce myself this week?
Yes.
She introduced me last week. I'm on you. But I'm Aaron, your second favorite.
Yes. And as y'all can see, we have a guest, and his name is Jazz.
Shout out to Jazz.
Shout out to Jazz.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yes. Thank you for joining the podcast conversation. So he came on because he is a entrepreneur, and he did just want to join the conversation and talk about his business. Mm-hmm. So before we get started, we love to start with an icebreaker game, which is hot takes.
Yeah, we want to make you feel comfortable. We want to make you talk to the people.
Yeah.
Get some shit off, and then let's have some fun with it. You want to go first, Dana?
Yes. So my hot takes card is being rich. Wait, hold on. I can't read. Being rich makes you attractive.
Knowing how to read makes you attractive. Now I'm just messing. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you would say yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Why, Jazz?
It's a sign of empowerment. You can get things that you think about. And, just being rich basically attracts whatever you want it to.
Yeah. I think because I have had opportunities to date people who had money. And when you get to a point where you realize that's all they can offer is money, like there's no substance, to me, it's not attractive.
Okay, but would you not stick with it?
I didn't, which is why I'm single, because it just didn't work for me. So I know some women, that is a thing that keeps them, right? Is because the guys can buy them a Birkin, a car, but if they're not looking for substance and they just want the materialistic things, then that works. But to me, I don't think money makes you attractive.
I think it does make you attractive. I think it's what does it attract though, right? Because all attraction ain't built equal. So it's it's some women who aren't the most beautiful, but they super attractive because of what they offer you. So it's
and they got their bodies done.
That's not attractive.
That's definitely not.
We don't like that. This shit felt like a basketball,
really?
So we good
I
on
feel
that.
like a lot of men like that.
No, we like the pictures. It looks, some of them.
You like? What about you, Jazz?
Me personally, I don't like that at all.
Do you like to look at that though?
I don't like the look. I don't like the.
If you can't tell. Because it's the ones you could tell, and that shit look crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like an expert. I kind of.
So you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. Pretty.
It feels different. So it's once you touch it,
I've never felt the.
I went to the palace.
I don't know.
And they was heavy in there in the palace.
What's the palace?
What is it?
Strip
Patterson?
club. Yeah.
It's a strip club out there, and
I don't go to strip clubs.
It wasn't it.
Well, the only strip club I've ever been to was King of Diamonds in Miami. And basically all the girls had their bodies done. You could tell. And they all had probably 100K followers on Instagram.
Right.
And they were more so going around trying to get people's Instagrams.
Because
they weren't
women.
necessarily dancing.
Yeah, because being rich made them attractive.
This is different. I guess so.
I think it's just trend. I don't think it's just. I think that women in general are beautiful. So whatever you add, lipo or anything like that, I think that you're just probably going through something mentally.
You're insecure?
Me personally.
Do you think they're insecure?
I believe so. But
what do you think that insecurity stems from, though?
I think it could stem from guys that they dated.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
The women that they think are attractive.
Society, what they see on Instagram.
Yeah, especially Instagram. But that's something that we're in.
Yeah,
and we have to figure out what to do about it because it's a problem. It's killing a lot of beautiful people.
That's why I give a shout out to Glorilla real quick because, granted, I'm not the most attracted to her, but she came out and she was like, "Yo, I don't care if I don't have no ass. I don't care if my titties ain't crazy. This is me.
She's real.
This is me.
Yeah.
This is what y'all see is what y'all get. I might make it up. I might, wear a push-up bra or some shit like that. But if I come out here with my ass to the floor, what I'm gonna look like?
One thing they don't talk about when it comes to women getting their bodies done, which I feel like is super important. they don't talk about the health risks of after getting that shit done.
No, I think they do though. I think they do. I don't think it's publicized.
Yeah, let me finish my point. So the reason why I say that is because there was a point in time where I was following a couple YouTubers, right? Like that was their job, is to post videos on YouTube. And a few of them did get their bodies done. Like there's so many complications that can happen afterwards, where you get like blood clots. If you don't maintain that body, like working out. That's why all of them become like workout gurus and post all this shit on Instagram. Like they know how to like go to the gym and like get their body to look like that when they got surgery. But you have to maintain that, or else it'll just like collect in like a weird ass way on your body. So
it's too much, man. Y'all be careful doing that.
Please do. But on the flip side, since we were talking about ladies just now, for fellas, is it manly to cry?
I'm not a big crier.
I'm sorry. Is it unmanly to cry? Better question.
I'm not a big crier.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. But do you think it's unmanly?
I think it's not unmanly. No.
Yeah. I think it depends. I think it depends though. Like I watched Married at First Sight. You ever seen Married at First Sight? Or
no.
So it was this one dude on the show, because me and my girl, we sit there and watch it together.
Is that the show where they
they meet for the first time and get married?
At the altar.
No, I don't watch shows like that.
I'm telling you, you got to jump into that shit. It really helps you understand like how the nuance in the individual, right? But there's this one dude, black dude. He was like 6'11", and it was this chick. Her name was Alexis. Crazy, right? And she was just a real raw type of chick. But he got so emotional to the point where it's like,
saw her,
just in general, like everything was an issue. I'm crying, I'm emotional, I'm sad.
He got something was wrong with
him.
Yeah,
but I think it's an insecurity.
Trauma to me.
I think it's trauma and insecurities that exist in this man's life. But at the same time, it's like from a man's perspective, it's like, bruh, shape up.
Okay, so then let me ask a different kind of question. Do you guys feel like it's okay to cry in certain scenarios? And if so, what are those scenarios? And I'm not talking about when someone passes away or whatever. I'm saying like where you're like super stressed out. Like how do you alleviate that pain?
Punch shit.
I don't think I've ever cried being stressed out in my entire life.
So what makes you cry?
Death.
Death? Is that the only thing?
I don't cry, so
pretty much.
Even death, I can't cry, because you remember the last episode we talked about my great grandmother. I remember all of us was in a room when she passed, and you see I have a lot of women in my family. If they're crying and I'm over there crying with them, like who's gonna be strong for them? Like we gotta hold it down. Like we supposed to be the men in their family. Like so we gotta hold it down. We gotta be strong. I'm not saying we can't. Yeah. But at the same time, if we are passive and we are pensive, like I need you to step up.
Who's the one who's supposed to like stand up on your 2 feet? So I think for me and my family, I'm not like the crier. Like I know most people think of women that usually cry the most when they're stressed out or they're going through shit, and then after they cry it out, they're good to go. I'm not like that. Like I'll probably just sit in my thoughts for a minute and like get quiet, because I'm always trying to figure things out. Like I have a very like result driven mentality, and to me it's like if I'm crying, I'm not saying it's weak, but it feels weak for me.
Do you think your emotions shift how you deal with it? Like crying from sadness versus crying from anger versus crying from stress, like those are all different reasons.
Yeah, I definitely cry for sadness and like death and stuff like that, because it is a loss. But when it comes to just being stressed out, like Jazz said, like I don't cry for being stressed.
Like we figure that shit out. Like
I'm solution based.
Yeah, that's
right. That's what
Yeah, like see? So like, but crying is healthy.
Yeah, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing if you cry. Like if that's your thing that helps you get through your shit, then so be it.
But I also think it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if you don't cry, because a lot of women try to put you in this box as a man to say like it's okay to be sensitive, it's okay to be in touch with your feminine side and different things like that. But I don't not cry because I'm not sensitive. I don't not cry because I'm not in touch with my feminine side. It's just not what I do. Like I'm not built like that. Like it don't help me to cry. You used to get spankings as a kid. You cry. What's that going to do? You're just going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
wake up with your eyes ashy.
That shit
Like
used to feel good.
that was the best sleep.
Oh my god.
Word up, 'cause I got
I
a
didn't
bunch
really
of
get.
ass
I didn't
whoopers.
get that many spankings.
We was boys, so
Yeah.
you know.
No, guys. Yeah, you guys definitely got beat. For
Now I don't know
sure.
if that was nice though.
Terrible. But
Yeah.
okay, let's get into Jazz's background and like, you know, who you are. So
Right,
we'll
right.
start with that because we know you are an entrepreneur. Like
Right.
what exactly is your business and like what got you into it?
My business is 6 figures ain't enough. It's a clothing line. You know, basically what got me into it was I'll tell a quick story. I was in Mexico and I was around some millionaires. But I thought I was like doing my thing. The trip is like $5,000 and I got Versace shirts on and I'm smoking cohibas and
Yeah.
I get into this conversation and this lady's like, you know, you're a nice looking man. My lady was with me. I got Moet all everywhere. We chilling. And the conversation led to like wealth. And she was explaining like, you know, I come here with my husband like every year or whatever. I was like, oh, this is my first time here. So it was like, you know, Diamond Club and, you know, I felt like this was
Like you doing something.
right.
Yeah.
That's how
Like
I
you've
felt.
reached.
But she been doing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like this was my
That's
first
normal.
time. Right. This is her norm. So that just sunk into my mind, and she was showing me like where she lived. She had like 25 acres. She lived like it's her land, and it had a mountain on it.
Damn.
So it was just like it kind of blew me away. I didn't say anything to her, but just in my mind, I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm not doing this is nothing. Like what I got and what I'm doing, I need to be doing more.
Did she tell you what she do?
I was just thinking.
No, she did not.
They never do.
Nah, but did you feel like you wanted to know, or did you feel like you wanted to get it?
These is not. That wasn't my first conversation with like multimillionaires.
Yeah.
Like it's not normal. Like I always run into like that's what I attract honestly. Like so I know eventually I'll you know be a 7.
Like if you keep that contact, they'll eventually like talk to you more, and give you.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is eventually I'm going to be a millionaire. So it doesn't It doesn't
We
matter.
talked about that one. Our episode.
It doesn't matter about. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but those people I attract on a day-to-day basis. Like I go out to a restaurant, I sit at the bar, they will just come up to me. You know what I mean? So this conversation led me to say that 6 figures wasn't enough. And I just said it in my head, and like spiritually, like it awakened me or awoken me. You know what I mean? So I couldn't sleep after that shit. Like it was just like 6 figures ain't enough. 6 figures. So I just was like, you know, I have to express this to the world. You know what I mean? So that's what brought it to life, basically.
And what made it come into clothing?
Because I wanted to wear it. I wanted to show people it on a day-to-day basis.
Walking billboard.
Right. So you know what I mean? I wanted to put it on my little nephew who's 12 years old and spends all of his money on games and well, he has a savings, but I wanted to just explain to him like, yo, your grandmother wants you to be a doctor. That shit is not enough. Like it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like when we were 6 years old and what was it would be the job fairs that come to the school and the doctors and the firemen. Oh, if you go to college and you you know finish it, get your degree, you can make $100,000.
It's like programming.
It is programming.
Yeah.
So like, but we don't know that. And honestly, my parents didn't know it. You know what I mean? They thought that was the way.
Yeah.
But in that time, it was the way. You know what I mean?
Blue-collar work.
Right. Now I make $100,000, and now I can tell my nephew, "Hey,
It's not enough.
it's not enough.
Trust me, I know.
I got 2 sons. Nah. You not working for no other man but me. You know what I mean? And then eventually, you're not working for me. You're working with me. So that's how it came about.
Where'd your work ethic come from?
My mother. You know, my pops too. Like I didn't grow up with my pops, but now we have a relationship, and I see a lot of my
That
work
drive.
ethic is both. But my mom's, I gotta give it to her, man. Like it's no,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like she's
Moms
just
are
unbelievable.
important. Yeah, they're literally the person that's like shaping your brain and like giving you that support of like being a better person.
Right.
If it's done right.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think you need both. But my mom is pretty much like I'm a spitting image of her.
Absolutely.
Like, you know
So
what I mean?
I'm big on success and failure, right? Not
Okay.
failure from a perspective of I want to see you fail, but I want to see opportunity from how you grow, right? And one of the biggest success stories, in a way, through a failure was LeVar Ball, right?
Right.
Dana loves Ball in the family. I'm big on Lonzo, LaMelo, Jello, all of them, right? From a clothing perspective, when they came out swinging. Like, I'm charging $300 for some basketball sneakers that don't even work. Like
That no one knows about.
yeah.
Right.
How,
one knows the brand.
How do you establish that brand?
You establish the brand by just, like starting off just being a walking billboard, representing yourself in these rooms and these back doors like a man, you know what I mean? Like a businessman. And you don't take shorts, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty much it. Like people who do know me personally, they know like I'm not really a playful guy.
That's the second time.
Yeah.
My bad.
I don't really play around. So what I put out into this world, it has to get done.
Facts.
Like I'm not really a joker. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to like crazy stuff on the radio. Like I don't even listen to the radio.
Is it because you feel like it's distractions?
I feel like it's programming.
Okay.
So we just talked about that. Like once I was conscious enough to know, like, damn, like they're programming the world to be this way. You know what I mean? Like this way. So, and I'm against that. You know what I mean? Me personally.
So, obviously, as a businessman, you trying to shape yourself off of what society is interested in, right? But at the same time, by deflecting from that programming, where do you get influence from?
Kobe Bryant, Jay-Z, Nas, those guys from the 90s. I like the new cats too, don't get me wrong, like Virgil.
Yeah. Is it because
he's very creative.
You see them as like someone that you want to aspire to be? Like what exactly about them?
I think I see myself in all of those guys.
Okay.
Though pretty much all of those guys came from poverty. Same things that I came from. I grew up in a homeless shelter. So when you say where I got my drive from, I literally seen my mother lose everything and build it all in 1 year.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I grew up on 6th Street in the homeless shelter. We used to walk. When we wouldn't make it back to the timing, like you had to be in a shelter at a certain time or they locked the door. We used to walk across Newark to each shelter to try to make the time. So sometimes we didn't make it. So you was sleeping outside. You know what I mean? So I grew up that way. You know what I mean? That's why I don't really play around. Like I know life is serious.
And that's
you know
also
what I mean?
why you say 6 figures ain't enough, because even if you had 6 figures ain't enough, 6 figures, it's still closed doors. It's still people that's willing to lock you out, even though you're trying to come on time.
And that's what they doing. Honestly, they want you to stick to this level where you got to work for them. Even if you made $300,000, $400,000, yeah, you could go on vacation. You could drive a 760 BMW S-Class or whatever like that. You could buy your lady a mink and do these things, have a Rolex, but it's still another level. And that was the level that the lady in Mexico was telling me about.
Right, okay.
Own your own land. Farm your own food. Don't depend on society, the government, and things of that nature. So this is what this brand is about. Don't get stagnant. You know what I mean? Don't get comfortable. Because let me tell you, the first thing when I made $100,000, I was lit. At least I thought. You know what I mean? I got comfortable. But then, like I said, like just spiritually, things come to me like, You gotta
pay attention to the downloads, right?
Yeah.
Like the signs, because they're always there.
No,
like,
absolutely. Like numbers, like like angel numbers and things of that nature. You got
the
it,
shit.
man.
That's like I got on my 3s right now.
Right, okay,
I'm big on
okay.
like angel numbers. And
What's your
stuff.
angel numbers?
I
If
don't
you
know. I think all of them are. That's the type of person who like, because they all come to me.
Yeah.
And they've been coming to me like crazy right now. So this is a time where it's very important. I have to move strategically.
How do you take those signs? Like, do you see that as a point where it's time for change, or do you take it as like, all right, I'm on the right path, so let me keep doing what I'm doing?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both, and you have to navigate through. You have to look at what's going on and resurface how move the way. So, for instance, right? So I'm just chilling or whatever, and I got like a negative thought in my head, right? So I'm like, damn. Then Angel, it was like 222, and it just was like, and then I read up on it, and it was like, hey, look, stay positive, da 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 da, blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, that negative thought has to leave.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to drive me to be in a space where it's not going to benefit my future. So it's like those little things.
Yeah,
So
I love
you
that
just gotta-
perspective because yesterday, because my birthday is 3/3. Like
Right.
3 has always just been like a connection.
That's
for
your
me.
number.
Yeah, and yesterday I kept seeing like 333 like on the clock, like friends texting me. So I'm like I know what it means, but I took it as like, okay, let me continue doing what I'm doing because I feel like they're shown to you in ways that are understandable for you.
Right.
So if you're that person that's gonna like look up what it is, it's gonna be sent to you in a way that like, all right, you'll understand this and then like move accordingly.
Absolutely.
So
But
I
some
always feel
people
like there's always
don't.
signs.
That's the part where it gets tricky because you got those people who just won't move the way the angels are telling them to, and that's why
I don't think they want to.
I as somebody who gets
Possibly.
numbers a lot, I think I'm part of that, right? Where I don't see the vision the right way. So I look at numbers and I look at it as a gamble, right? Because I come from a family where we play the numbers, we play the lotto, we go to the casino. So when I see numbers that come to my head, because numbers come like that,
Right.
numbers and words are my thing, right?
Right.
But I'd rather take it as, let's throw it on a roulette table. Let's do something like that to try to make a quick
You don't use
buck.
it as like
Yeah,
a guide.
I don't use
Oh
it
yeah,
as
it's
a
like-
way more important than
Yeah,
that, bro.
it's way deeper, and I'm getting into
and
it.
But that's
and that's
fine,
good
too.
to hear it from y'all
Yeah,
yeah.
because it helps me with perspective. Because like it's like you just look at some shit and you just be reading it. It's like the Matrix, but you don't get
You
it
gotta get
unless
out the
somebody.
Matrix.
Yeah, you don't get it unless
It's
somebody
hard.
puts you in
It is.
perspective.
Especially when you've been programmed for
Right.
so long,
It's
and like
hard.
you said, no one in your family has stepped out of that box to
Right.
do something different.
And they'll think you like the black sheep, like for a long time.
Listen.
Like, and I'm very like family orientated. I come from a very strong family, and you know, like when I was getting these visions and things, and just being, you know, just growing up, like just maturing as a young man, I would tell them things and they wouldn't believe it, and then now. 10 years later, they're like, "Oh, you." I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Ma, I told you that shit 10 years
Do
ago."
you
Religious?
think-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I
No.
just want to ask one question. Do you think they didn't believe you because they didn't see it at the time, and now that they see like how your life has turned out from listening to the signs and stuff, it's like, oh, I'm now gonna believe what Jazz is saying because like look at what he's accomplished.
I think I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So it's hard to believe the youngest when you're like
I'm-
teaching,
I'm the baby
coming from
too.
a teaching standpoint.
I'm the youngest too.
So when I tell my older brother something that he don't know, it's kind of like, man, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it comes off. Like now he's understanding. Oh shit, this guy really is. Well, he always knew I was special, but now he's geared towards what I'm saying a little bit more. So that was, you know, but.
Okay.
You can't make them drink that water.
Yeah, you
know what I
definitely
mean?
can't.
You just can bring it to them.
It's
Yeah,
like wanting
that's
people to
all.
be successful. You can't force that. You can literally give them all the tools and show you what you did, show them what you did.
Right.
And it's like they won't follow these steps because it's just not in them. Like they don't have the drive for that.
And you talking success when with success comes sharks in the water.
Oh, absolutely.
How you deal with that? Because I know clothing it's not easy.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
This is a grind. This is a grind. This is a grind. But I like it because I'm used to that. I've been doing that my whole life. So it's really nothing for me. Like I like to tackle things that seem hard and
So-
make it look easy.
Just
That's a
because
bar.
I feel like I feel like everyone has a clothing line. Like everyone has a podcast.
Right.
So there are people who say, "Oh, it's an oversaturated industry. You're not going to make money from it." What makes you different from your competitors?
I don't necessarily think it's saturated.
Okay.
Because everyone can have a clothing line. You know what I mean? Like that's that society thing.
It is.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that. Like what I think sets my clothing line apart from someone else's, simply the name, the quality, the person who's behind
And
it.
it's yours, right?
You know what I mean?
You're gonna
Like,
give.
I'm giving 150%. I'm giving you organic cotton. I'm giving you this name. It's a message.
Right.
You know what I mean? 6 figures ain't enough.
And
Like,
also, not to take away from your answer, but I also think it ain't competition.
right. And
Because everybody can wear
Absolutely.
a shirt.
Absolutely.
Everybody can wear
Everybody
a pair of
wears
pants.
a shirt.
Everyone
right?
needs
You feel what I'm saying?
clothes. So
It's 24 hours in a day, and everybody can listen to a podcast, right? I think we just want to pit people against each other.
yeah,
Right.
but who's also saying it's oversaturated? Is it people who are not in those
Haters.
industries?
Right.
The
Yeah,
haters?
haters.
Like you haven't done
somebody
this.
who doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I'm not competing with anybody when it comes to my brand. This is my shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm doing. What you got going on is what you got going on.
And
I
I'm
wish
not
you
going
the
to stop
best.
you. Like,
Right,
I ain't
right.
going.
I wish you the best.
I ain't going to yuck your yum. Know what I mean, do what you do. Eat how you eat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think a lot of people so hyper focused on this competition shit.
Nah, I'm good.
Like-
I only compete when it comes to basketball and sports. That's it. Anything else, I'm good.
Because we can all eat together. Like
I'm good.
it's a big pot.
Right.
Like it's a potluck. It's family dinner. Like if you come to the table, eat with me.
I'm more like competing with myself.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I do.
like trying to be better.
Right, I'm
every day.
self-motivated. I don't. What Jay-Z say? What you eat don't make me shit. Like, and that's just how
Jay-Z lyric.
that's how I go about life.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
But it's crazy because I think that gives us a lot of perspective too from a podcast perspective. Because starting from the ground up, because you just started in December, right?
Right.
We just started
December 31st, I just started, man.
Yeah.
And I got Dave East posting. I got Isaiah Colliner. He just made Player of the Year in high school. You know what I mean? I'm working, man.
Yeah,
Working.
you're working behind the scenes.
I'm working.
Love that. Yeah, because it's important to collaborate, right? Like, how do you feel about? Because you mentioned how it is a way of programming when you're listening to the radio and you're
Right.
on Instagram and things like that. But like for us, because with podcasts, like you do have to constantly put out content. Like we're always putting out reels and trying to get people to follow our page. That way, like more people can listen and tune in and come on, like
Right,
yourself.
right.
So, how do you separate the programming and then also just being on social media to promote your stuff?
So what I do, I look at like what's trending, right?
Okay.
I look at what's trending because it's at the end of the day, it's still a business and it's a format to it. So you just play along with the format, but you don't have to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? You can put your own
spin on it.
and then make it work for you,
Right.
just like they did.
Right.
You know what I mean? What think about what they did to make it pop, and then I just use that with my spin, and it works for me.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
been
mean?
working, like
you
you
know what I mean.
said.
It works for me.
Yeah.
So and you just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Just be consistent. That's all I can say with what I want to do. I just want to be consistent, and I don't worry about what the next person is doing. I don't have to. You know what I mean?
I think like when you find a system that works, you have to keep going because a lot of people like they're okay with just being complacent and like just like having things like staying above the water. But it's like, no, if you want things to be bigger and better, you have to keep going. And that's something that we've been doing with our podcast, like just being consistent, like having different people on here, constantly putting out reels on Instagram, because social media, like that's a huge way to get, you know, I look at them as customers, viewers, audiences.
And it's
All of
free
it.
99.
Free 99.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, y'all doing your thing. Just
Yeah,
stay
we tapped
consistent.
in.
That's all I could tell anybody who, in the space that we in.
Now, I listening to you, like we probably met before. I don't know if I ever met Jazz. We got mutual acquaintances and whatnot. But from the second that we started talking, I could tell he was a smart dude.
I appreciate that, bro. Likewise.
Where do you get that mentality from, the research and find different avenues to really be successful? Because you're not just doing this shit on some, I like clothes, so I'm gonna make some clothes.
Right.
Like, you talking about organic cotton, you talking about these type of things. Where is that coming from? And it ain't coming from that old lady in Mexico.
Nah, some of it,
a lot of it, but not all of it.
Man, I attribute a lot to like the women in my life. My
Shout
mom.
out to Women's History Month.
You know what I mean?
Speak on the women in your life. Like, what have they done that you feel like?
Man, my mom is everything. My big sister is everything. My lady is everything. Like, my lady is the one who's up making a website and, you know, giving me these ideas that's pissing me off, but I gotta listen because ultimately it's the right decision to make.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We be the ones in the background, really like pushing.
Absolutely.
Nah, the craziest part, y'all don't be in the background. Y'all be in the foreground. Y'all be right there.
Right.
So the common misconception is behind every great man is a great woman. It's like, nah, they are side by side.
Yes, beside every great
like, it's
man
easy.
is a woman.
It's easy to try to like poo that relationship, but like we lean.
Yeah.
We lean on y'all. So shout out to the ladies. Like, y'all really be
shout out
doing
to the
it.
ladies.
Yeah, just to bring it back to is it unmanly to cry? I feel like when you have someone who is a partner, who is a woman, and bringing that feminine energy, who you can confide in, is like you're venting to her, telling her
It's
like
that
your
proper
issues.
balance.
Yeah, I don't feel like you need to cry because you're expressing how you're feeling like emotionally and just like getting that out. Like, you don't have to physically cry for that to happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure you went through some emotional experiences in your clothing business. Obviously, it's still relatively new.
I'm actually going through something now, but
we don't have to talk about it unless you want to.
I mean, it's nothing that no one else has
Okay.
did, so it's not major, you know.
Okay, so
It's just
like,
a part of it.
what's the issues that you're dealing
So
with?
the issues is, like you said, just creating that. You're starting from scratch, right? So you're starting from 0 followers, and important thing to build your business, you need customers.
Yes.
You need viewers. You need people that's want to be in the clothes, and you have to create that metric to get the people. So it's just a grind. It's just being consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever challenges come your way, you just gotta motherfucking buckle up and
trying to just figure that out because with social media too, because I feel like this happened recently where businesses are now creating pages. Like, if you have a business, you have to have a social media,
Absolutely.
whether it's a Facebook, Instagram, because people, they want to look at reviews of like things that people are tagged in wearing your stuff, or like people that are on your podcast. Like, what did you say? And then it makes people want to go on the podcast or like buy your brand because they see that it's getting so much like organic reviews from real people. So I think that is the benefit of having a social media as well.
It is. It's important. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we in. We in the tech era.
Yeah,
and
it's
all
just
about tech.
it's just gonna get like more powerful because everything's going into AI. So everything's gonna be automated and like not really have that human perspective. Like,
did y'all hear, like, they, sorry to cut you off, they could like do your voiceover type shit? Like,
I heard
Nah, I
about
ain't
that.
hear
Yeah, like if you have a video, they can use their own voice to
Right,
like
that's
move
crazy.
your mouth, but
That's
like
crazy.
say whatever you want to say. So you can kind of just like change the whole
that's scary.
Yeah,
That's
it's
scary.
wild. Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work in a court of law, but that's scary.
Yeah,
That's
no,
scary.
a lot of stuff is changing, but like to bring it back to the business and social media, I just feel like you need to figure out how to tap into those followers and make them customers.
Right. And you gotta know like your core. Like, you gotta first find your core audience and just work with that.
Do you feel like it's like once they understand your brand? So I think for
Absolutely.
us with the podcast, they always say like, well, what is your podcast about? And that's it. That I fucking hate that question because with us, like, we want to create a platform for entrepreneurs to come on, to have like conversations after work that like everyday people can relate to.
Yeah,
like,
where
we
it's
don't
not
we don't
work.
like talking about like trendy shit, like
Right,
shit
right.
that's like always on social media, talking about sex and relationships. Like, we'll talk about it every now and then, but that's
Right.
not our everyday lives.
Well, this is my kind of podcast.
Yeah, because
thank you.
we real motherfuckers.
Yeah.
With all due respect to my grandfather, because he don't like me cursing.
Yeah.
We real, and we want to have real conversations with real people.
That's what's needed, man. Substance.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Substance.
But I got a question about substance for you, because you from Newark, right?
Right.
What do Newark mean to 6 figures ain't enough?
Man, that's a big question.
I've been working on my question, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
Newark is 6 figures ain't enough. Like, I come from a place where it's a bunch of grinders. You know what I mean? The most hardworking people, the smart, talented people. Like, it's so many talented people, like, that grow up and get murdered. Like, I've witnessed way too many. So, like, this brand is Newark. You know what I mean? Like, I represent this for my people in the city. You know what I mean? Like, whether they understand it or not, eventually, y'all will, because I'm from Newark. Like, I'm a product of my environment, but I'm also a product of my family. And it's two differences. You know what I mean? So this brand is for New Jersey in itself, but it's worldly, because you got to understand, 6 figures ain't enough.
Yes.
It ain't. So
Can we get a bomb drop?
once you get that, them 100,000s, you gonna understand. You gonna be like, damn, that.
Now,
You gonna run through that.
One of the things me and Dana, we hyper focus on Jersey.
Right.
We love Jersey. We love what Jersey represents. We love that Jersey created us. And I did track and field. Dana know I talk about it all the time. And the one thing me and my boy Zay, who was on this podcast, we always represented that we was the best in Jersey. Right. It means something to us. Like, when I look at rappers or athletes and I don't see Jersey out there,
Free serve.
where it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like, when niggas be like, yeah, Shaq from Jersey, it don't feel like it. It feel like it, but it don't feel like
Can
it.
we get into
Ooh, that's a debate.
people
Nah, he Jersey
like,
as shit, but it's like, I want him to be Jersey.
I agree with you.
He
Like,
gives back though, right?
He definitely do.
Like, he just built a project or something.
I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just something about when I don't see it represented enough. It hurt my feelings. Like,
So
I
how
love
do
that
you guys feel about people saying that they have to move or leave where they're from in order to be successful? Because I hear that a lot. Like, whenever I hear people like, I can't wait to get out of Jersey, like, I want to move somewhere else, start a new life.
Because they falling for the glitz and the glam. Like, I don't need to be at a tropical beach to feel successful. Like,
Right.
I don't
honestly,
need to be out of state.
Yeah, I feel everything is in Jersey.
I agree with whoever said that, though.
Okay.
Because we come from a place where, like, that crab in a barrel mentality, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from Newark, and I went to a Catholic school, and I was always good in basketball. Like, if I went to a public high school in Newark, man, I probably would have had 1,500 points, easy, right? I went to St. Pat's in Elizabeth. When I came back to my city, Newark, and I played pickup or whatever, people would look at me different. People would treat me different in a negative light. Not looking at me like, yo, he's one of the kids that made it to this ultimate high level in high school. We was the #1 team in New Jersey.
You play with Jamel?
No, I'm older than Jamal.
Okay.
Right. So he came to my high school. You feel what I'm saying?
Thanks.
But
That's my guy.
That's my guy, though. That's my guy. Mel, my guy. But like I said, they always viewed me like in a negative light, so to speak. So when I did go out of like Newark, I was praised by hundreds of people. Like, I went to school in Georgia, made Player of the Year. You know what I mean? Took my college to the Final Four. Like, did all these wonderful things, and it's like I could have did the same shit in New Jersey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but why?
So I think it's important to experience different places, right? Different environments, and like travel like outside of the United States to see how different people are living. But I also feel like when people want to leave where they're from to be successful, I think you're kind of just like running. Like, when you have that mentality of like you're trying to run from something, it doesn't matter where you go. I think like you're not going to be successful because you don't have that in you. Like, you're more so trying to like run away and just
2.
Told
you.
Listen.
Told you.
Yep, there you go.
Told
but yeah, I just feel like once you realize that you can make it anywhere and like you can be successful, once it starts with yourself, then shit will start to change.
So let me say something to you about that, right? So me personally, I went to school in Moberly, Missouri, it was shout out to Mobley, Missouri, but that was a Division One JUCO college because I was going to University of Missouri, right? So I didn't necessarily want to go there. I didn't really have too many other options. So I don't think I'm not saying that you were talking to me, but for the people like me that had to leave the city to be successful, I just think it was like it's about opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
And if you don't have the opportunity in Newark or wherever you from.
Well, that's from like a sports perspective. I'm
Okay.
saying from like an entrepreneurial mindset.
Okay,
Like
okay.
from like trying to build a brand, like a clothing line or like a podcast. Why do you feel like you have to leave where you're at in order to do that? Like that's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, from like sports and stuff, like yeah, you do get better opportunities, and that's why some men go overseas, right? Because they don't make the NBA.
Yeah.
So like I get it from that point of view.
But I remember he said something about his clothing line is worldly, right? In order to be worldly, you gotta kind of experience the world,
Right.
like you gotta see.
But he started it
Yeah.
where?
I don't
Newark.
live in Newark, so I'm from Newark, but I don't live in.
Do you
I'm
live in
still
New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm in
but
Jersey.
it's in New Jersey.
Right, but honestly, think about it like this: where right now, it's trending. Where can you be the most successful?
Probably Atlanta.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
so.
what-
If you
it's like the
start
Black
a
Mecca.
clothing line in Atlanta, more than likely, if you got something, it's gonna pop because the United States is focused on this one place. So it's easier to be successful where it's more opportunity. That's
Okay.
what I don't think that you're running from Newark or New Jersey or whatever. I don't necessarily think that way. People go places where
Success is.
exactly
successful,
and where the
like-minded
opportunity
people are.
is. In Jersey, New York, it's hard to get those opportunities.
Yeah.
This area, we just hard ass people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You go to the South, they welcoming.
First
you know
off,
what I mean?
when I moved to
they're a
Pennsylvania,
little bit more welcoming.
because Pennsylvania,
A lot
it ain't
more.
the South, but Pennsylvania feel like the South.
I lived in Pennsylvania.
So when I went out there, niggas was saying hello to me.
Right.
Like, I'm
you
from
don't
Jersey.
Get that you don't get that just
I don't know what to do. Like it's awkward. It's
Yeah.
like, how, do I hi? Like motherfucker, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta experience some shit that's gonna
Yeah.
really like shape you. Like I know we talking about entrepreneurship, but you gotta experience being a worker to really know how to run a business.
Right.
You gotta experience understanding what the clothing feels like. You gotta understand all the nuance in this
Right.
shit. It's not just I want it.
Manufacturers, all type, like you said, material, the price points,
Yeah,
the margin.
I watched Baby Boy
But
when he said.
it starts with the drive, though, right?
No,
It
absolutely,
starts with the
absolutely.
mindset. Like you have to know that you're gonna be successful, even if like you run into some issues, because that's just what it is when you're building something from the ground up. Like you
Right.
are going to have a lot of like challenges that you have to just push through.
Right.
So I think if it starts with yourself and just telling yourself like, yo, like I really want this, just like with us with this podcast, like we really want this to be something big and major, even if it's not, even if you get like the 1 like or the 2 shares, no comments, because we're bringing it back to social media. You got to keep going and just keep
No,
like,
absolutely.
you know,
Be
posting
consistent,
shit, be
man.
consistent.
It doesn't matter. Just keep working. That's
Period.
that's my
Man,
mindset. Keep
Jazz,
working.
this is a fantastic conversation.
Thank
like, you know, this
It is.
more so than a podcast episode. This is a dope ass conversation.
This was like a transfer of information.
Yeah.
You know
right,
what I mean?
and that's what it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, so we appreciate
This is
that.
dope.
But to quickly change gears, because we're running up on time,
We gotta-
we'll keep going.
Yes, we could talk for days about this.
We wanna highlight an influential Black person or woman.
Or
There's
woman.
Women's History
It's
Month.
Women's
Right,
History
right.
Month.
But this is a segment we want to keep going. So if you have a Black woman that you want to shout out, you know, let us know who she is and tell us why.
My mom, my sister, my lady. That's pretty much like the women in my life, man. I appreciate them wholeheartedly, and yeah.
Yes. Shout out to
them.
y'all.
Shout out to the
That's
women.
dope.
Period.
Shout out.
To women.
You know what I
to
mean?
us. We go through a lot of shit, okay? But I want to shout out. I haven't thought about this because we just did a episode prior to this, so I just have myself for the last one. I'll let you go, Aaron.
I'm gonna do a little cop out here. I know it's an easy woman to shout out, but I want to shout out Harriet Tubman, right?
Okay.
Because it's not just that she's like symbolic for the Underground Railroad.
Definitely is.
It's the drive, right? She said, I don't know if this quote is real, but they said she left her husband, and when she came back, her husband was married to another woman. She said that's why she left him in the first place, right? Like, women got to deal with that type of shit when they out here on the grind, where it's like, I can't wait for nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get it.
Like, he didn't even hold her down.
Where when I go inside, I see women working in the workforce, black women specifically. You see them there every day, holding down the building, being a rock, being the force that keeps shit together. So she's symbolic of that to me. And I don't need her no $20 bill. I don't need her no portraits. I don't care how you think she look, whatever the case may be. She's a symbol of perseverance.
Right.
And I fuck with that. And I think every single black woman that I've been across is a perseverer. So shout out to y'all. I also want to shout out to one of my homegirls, actually Jamel's sister. Her name Jasmine. Yeah.
Shout out to Jazz.
She's all about being an overcomer.
Right.
So that's what it's about. Like, ladies, keep overcoming, keep persevering, and shout out to y'all.
Okay, so I'm going to shout out the women that I'm going on my birthday trip with. And it might be funny. So I'm going to Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places.
I've never been, but I'm shouting them out because it was a last minute trip. And it was something that I always wanted to do for my birthday, like just go on vacation.
Yeah.
Just because in March, like, the weather is always shitty. But it was one of those things where they kind of just like dropped everything and they planned everything that needed to be planned. And they're like, Dana, we're going to be there for you.
You got some good friends.
Yeah, you want to do this? Friends, family. They're like, you want to do this? So we're going. Like, let's go. So shout out to y'all. I love y'all. And we going to turn up in Jamaica. So on that note, we're going to, if you want to shout out the Gmail account.
Yes. Before we shout out the Gmail account, make sure we shout out Jazz. Jazz, what's your Instagram for the clothing line and for yourself?
6 Figures Ain't Enough. At 6 Figures Ain't Enough. And, you can catch it. You can go to the website, www.sixfiguresaintenough.com.
Yeah,
Facts.
I'll add everything to the description. So
and if y'all want to join this conversation, if y'all want to plug any of your businesses, ask some dope questions, make sure y'all hit up woawpod@gmail.com for more conversations. And we definitely appreciate all our coworkers out there. Definitely appreciate Jazz.
Yes.
Birthday girl Dana.
Appreciate you for coming on. Thank you.
But yeah.
Yep. And on that note, we outside
and we out.